All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to talk about absolute value equations, part 1. There is going to be another video later on special cases, but for now we're going to focus on the basics. So let's start out with this first problem. Solve the absolute value of x equals 2. For this one, we can solve by just thinking about it without doing a lot of math. And that's a good thing because the reasoning that we go through for this first problem is exactly what's going to apply to the next problem. The absolute value of any number gives you a positive result. So the absolute value of a positive 2 would in fact give you a positive 2, right? So that means that x equals 2. But can we think of another number that also gives you a positive 2 when we take the absolute value of it? Yeah, sure. The answer would be negative 2. The absolute value of a positive 2 or a negative 2 will always lead to the positive version of that value, which in this case is 2. So that means that not only does x equals 2, but x is also equal to negative 2. And with that said, we have solved the first equation. Not too bad, right? So remember that line of thinking. We're taking whatever we see on the inside and we're setting that equal to the positive version of what we see on the right-hand side and the negative version of what we see on the right-hand side. It's that exact same reasoning that we're going to use on the next problem. So over here where it says to solve x plus 3 in absolute value equal to 2, we're going to use exactly that reasoning. We're going to take what we see on the inside and we're going to set the inside equal to the positive value that we see on the right. X plus 3 from the inside equal to the positive value we see on the right, which is 2. And then we're going to take x plus 3, which is what we see on the inside, equal to the negative version of what we see on the outside, which is negative 2. So now you can see, hopefully, how similar these two problems actually are. In both cases, you take whatever you see on the inside of the absolute value symbol, set it equal to the positive version of what you see on the right, and then set up another equality or equation where you take what's on the inside and set it equal to the negative version of what you see on the right hand side. Okay, once you do that, the absolute value is gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You just do the math to solve for x in each of these one-step linear equations, and you're good to go. Now is a good moment to pause the video, try this next problem on your own, and when you're ready, unpause the video and you'll see me go through an explanation for this problem. We have solved negative 2 absolute value 3x plus 4 and absolute value minus 5 equals negative 9. So let's get started. In general, when you're solving an absolute value equation and you have a lot of other things going on the outside, you're going to take what you see in the absolute value expression, so to speak. You're going to call that your anchor. We're not going to move that or touch that yet. We cannot apply absolute values until we get this absolute value expression by itself. So everything we learned from the previous steps, it still works, but we have to be a little patient. We can't start splitting things up at the very beginning. We have to get rid of this negative 2 and this negative 5 first. You add 5 to both sides. Absolute value 3x plus 4 equals negative 4. Now we're going to again keep this absolute value expression. Don't move it. We're going to get rid of this negative 2 by dividing both sides by negative 2. The absolute value of 3x plus 4 equals positive 2. Now we are in exactly the position that we are familiar with, that we want to be in. We have an absolute value expression by itself and a positive number on the right hand side. So let's identify what's going on the inside and what's going on the outside. And let's split this into two separate linear equations now. So we take what's on the inside and we set it equal to the positive value of what we see on the right hand side of the equation. We take the inside and we set it equal to the negative version of the value we see on the right hand side of the equation. And now the absolute value symbol is gone. So from here, we solve each of these two-step linear equations to get x, and we're good to go. So thank you all for listening in. And that takes us to the end of the problem.